Hello, my name is Jesse Garcia. I'm a proud member of the Carpenters Union, Local 619, and I support Yes for a Better San Diego. Thank you.
The Yes on Measure C kickoff event happened across the street from the San Diego Convention Center last December.
Good morning. My name is Frank Valio with the International Union of Elevator Constructors, Local 18, and I support Yes for a Better San Diego.
Tourism officials, politicians, and union workers hailed the potential economic windfall of a new hotel tourist tax that could raise billions. The money would go for convention center expansion, homeless programs, and street repairs.
Really, the coalition, I've been involved in a lot of campaigns and ballot measures. I have never seen a more diverse and stronger coalition that cuts across all portions of San Diego, because we need this funding source. We need a permanent source of funding for homeless services. We need to expand our convention center and the dollars this will need for road improvement. These are the issues that San Diegans care about.
Faulkner has long pushed for a convention center expansion, but several attempts to make it happen in recent years have failed. Just getting this measure on the ballot stumbled 2 years ago, when the first petition drive didn't collect enough valid signatures. Faulkner says the city deserves this redo.
It's the first time that it's actually going to be on the ballot, and I think that's why you're seeing so much enthusiasm.
Measure C asks voters to boost the city's hotel room tax between 1.25% to 3.25%, depending on how close a hotel is to the convention center.
Which is a tax that visitors pay when they come to stay in San Diego and they stay in one of our hotels.
Carol Kim sits on the convention center board and works for the Building and Construction Trades Council. She says the tax hike would raise more than $6 billion over the next 4 decades, and the tax hike doesn't expire.
We're telling voters up front, we're saying we're not just going to raise this tax and let anybody do what they want with it. We're going to raise this tax and spend it specifically on 3 things, 3 specific buckets: the convention center expansion, homelessness, streets and roads.
But that plan doesn't sit well with everyone. Community advocate Donna Fry says people have to remember they're voting on a new tax, and they're getting only limited input on where the money will go.
If you had $1 billion in new tax revenue, do you think the best use of that would be to expand a convention center? Or do you think that it should be used for other purposes?
Fry says people should not be misled. The bulk of the money raised by the hotel tax, 59%, will pay for the convention center expansion and then the operation of the facility. Fry says that's a huge tax subsidy.
What they've done is they've tried to combine it. The hotel guys have tried to combine it with homelessness and roads and make it sound like it's really for homeless people and for roads, when there is no guarantee. There is absolutely nothing in the measure that says any housing will be built for the homeless.
The measure doesn't outline how any of the money raised for homelessness will be spent. Instead, it relies on the city council to decide whether it will fund services or housing or some combination of the two. San Diego Tax Fighters founder Richard Ryder says San Diego already has too many taxes on the books, and he's not a fan of bundling issues together.
Levy a tax, let the voters decide on that tax based on what it is being used for. If we're going to have a separate tax for the homeless, okay, put a separate tax for the homeless on the ballot. Don't try to fool people into thinking this will pay for everything. It won't.
Ryder says the tax will create billions in new revenue for the city, but he worries city officials are playing a shell game. By creating dedicated revenue streams for the convention center, homelessness, and road repair, the city frees up general fund money.
We spend a tremendous and ever-increasing amount of our money on pensions. So when we spend more money on the homeless here, it frees up money for what government's #1 priority is, which is paying for the pensions and retiree health care.
Because Measure C is a dedicated tax increase, the ballot measure needs a 2/3 majority vote to pass. If approved, the initiative would raise the hotel tax rate and allow the city to borrow money for the convention center expansion. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.